What's up, guys, and welcome back to another podcast here on the Team Member Perspective podcast training show. I'm your host, Colter, and today we have another team member breakthrough episode. My man, Landon Helton, out of Tennessee, had a big breakthrough. Landon, he's going to explain a little bit about his story, but Landon went from, you've been a team member, 13 months, right?
That's right. Just hit it. Yep.
13 months. He sent me an email and he said, when I started in insurance 12 months ago, I was always asking every customer about life insurance, but made it too complicated, stumbled over my words. Okay. And these numbers have probably changed, Landon, but he says, this year I have already cracked almost 9,000 in yearly life premium since January. And I think he sent me this in early March, February. Why don't you just update us on the numbers that you're currently at for life premium, Landon?
Yeah, so I've probably sold about a dozen more since that email, maybe a little more or less. Today, an app that I did put me at 15,000, right over 15,000 in annual premium so far. And as we were talking off camera, man, that app today put me over what I did all of last year in 2.5 months. So, man, that your company works. It does.
I love it, man. You know, you're making it happen. You're doing it, right? Which I absolutely love. So we're going to kind of recount that story a little bit, right? 13 months in, it's March, the middle of, early parts of March when we're recording this episode, and you've already got $15,000 in annual life premium, which is
Yeah.
wild, right? And more than you did all of last year. So you've got a big year ahead, my man. But let's kind of go back to when you started insurance, right? You kind of mentioned you're asking every customer about life insurance, but you found that you were kind of overcomplicating it, right? What were like the biggest things that made the difference from then versus now?
Well, there is a memory I like to go back to. I was talking with my agent Kim about it. I was trying to do it my way for several months, and wasn't having a lot of success. I was getting about 2 to 4 life apps a month on a good month. Right, I was going through a dry spell. Hadn't sold a policy 2.5, 3 months, and we had just started subscribing to your weekly trainings. One of your trainings, I wasn't able to watch it live because I had an IFR. Went to lunch, came back and watched the replay of it. You already had the replay up, and it was about youthful drivers. Let's protect youthful drivers. So I'm watching that, and at the time we had a woman hired named Debbie. Debbie brought me quote sheet. Saw the youthful driver. I said, I guess I'll just try. I'll do exactly what this guy says. So if it fails, I can still go back to my way, right? Because I know it all. And man, I sold a $30,000 whole life right there, just like that, by doing exactly what you said. I was like, man, that's pretty fluky. That's fluky. So we watched another training the next week. It was talking about some type of report. Can't remember the exact one off the top of my head, but anyways, I ran that report, picked up the phone, so I'll do it again. Do exactly what this guy says. And then that very next phone call sold an instant answers. Man, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. So, started listening to you, putting into practice, practicing myself, trying to consume more knowledge and become like an actual student of this. And it's, definitely paid off. It's paid off a lot.
That's amazing. And I like what you said that I became a student of this.
Yeah.
I believe that right there is what has allowed you to get to where you are.
Yeah.
And I think recognizing like, I want to do it my way. And I like that about you. Honestly, I love that. Like, I absolutely love that. But what I love more is that you're like, you know what? My way may not be working in the way that I want it to work or in the way that I know it can work. The fact that you were willing to try maybe a different way, right? Maybe something different, that says a lot about you. And I think that right there, if team members listening to this, if you can just develop this mindset, this hunger to always be learning, always be improving, becoming a student of the game, like Landon says, I think you will be in a position where you can do so much more this year than you ever done.
Yeah.
So become a student of the game. I love that, Landon. I love that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love that. So let's kind of dive into like your actual conversations,
Yeah.
right? Because I like to understand the why behind things work and not just like, oh my gosh, it works, right? Do you
Yeah.
feel like there's some different like principles or things in the way you communicate to people and the way that people are that has allowed for all this to happen?
Yeah, I quit asking people if we can look at their life insurance. I quit asking, if we can proceed with that, if they would like that, because they don't. They don't. They want to get off the phone. They just got done saving a couple $100 on their home and auto. They don't need anything else, right? I also feel like I want to have an image of being a professional at this. And you don't go to the doctor and tell the doctor what they can and can't do for you. You don't go to the doctor and tell them what you know is best for you, right? Whatever the doctor says, whatever the doctor prescribes, that's what you do, that's what you take. If we lead and inform, I think that has definitely paid off, leading and informing the customer about what's best for them, right? So, sold a life today, and we were not able to do his manufactured home. He didn't get the loan. He texted me on SF Connect. He said, I didn't get the loan. I'm not going to need that quote, but thank you for taking a look at it, right? And me a year ago, me 4 months ago, 3 months ago, maybe would have said, you know what, thank you for letting us take a look at it. When you get approved for that loan in the future, keep me in mind. Right. I saw that text. I didn't get bummed out about it because I knew, he didn't get that loan, but he still needs life insurance. Right. So I called him and told him about it. Told him that we weren't able to, of course, do the manufactured home, but I seen he had an app about a year ago for life insurance. I asked him what happened with that. What happened with that? We ended up segueing off the life insurance because he was just wanting to vent about being denied, how his loan officer did him, and you just have to rein it back in. Rein it back in. We started talking about the life again. Not saying, can I take a look at it? Hey, I'm gonna see if that app is eligible now. He said, well, I don't know much about life insurance. It kind of intimidates me. That's kind of why I didn't proceed with the other app. I told him, I said, Mark, it sounds like you need a starter policy. Went right into an instant answer, went right into a 25K whole life, right? Nothing too scary. Got him eligible for the instant answer, just kind of telling him, like, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to work for you. It's going to build credit. And already setting up with him, Colter, that we're going to get him some credit and we are going to do a conversion this time next year. We're going to get him that bigger policy that is intimidating him now, right? So I think that it's very effective to not ask, to lead, because nobody wants to take a look at their life insurance.
It's so true. Isn't that so funny? But it's also like you start to ask, like, why don't they want to? And I think we learn a lot about the customer and the prospect and who we're selling to. It's quite
Yeah,
ironic. I've got this on my board. I was doing a little training earlier, but put yourself in their shoes. What are they thinking about? What are they feeling? No one wants to take a look at their life insurance, right? When you start to understand what type of responses you get from people when they just simply hear life insurance, sometimes it teaches you a lot about that. People have beliefs about life insurance that whether or not they're real and they're true and they have them. Like this guy
yeah,
thought he was intimidated by it,
right,
which a lot of people are. But I also think what you're saying about asking questions, when I first started as a team member, Landon, I remember just always hearing, like, if you want to sell more life insurance, you need to ask more. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay. And I agree with that. I think sales is very much a numbers game. Obviously, I played baseball growing up. If I
right,
step up to the plate 10 times, I have a higher likelihood of getting some hits, getting some RBIs, whatever that is, versus if I only step up to it 3 times. Right? That makes it's common sense, right? So sales is the same way. The more at bats that we can have, the more we're going to sell. However, I don't believe that sales is only a numbers game. I believe that it's a skills game. When I first started, outside of the advice, you just need to ask more, okay, which I like that. But it was also like, if you want to sell more life insurance, ask more questions. I don't necessarily agree with that because I've tried it. Hey, can we look at your life insurance, right? It wasn't working for me, right? But learning to, like you say, lead instead of ask, there's power in that. And if we
yeah,
explore that a little bit deeper, it's like, well, why is there power in that? Well, how much did you understand about your liability coverages on your car insurance policy 14, 15, 16 months ago before you got into insurance?
right. Not much, man.
Right? Like, how much does the average person understand about those, or average customer prospect?
Yeah,
Hardly anything. I mean, the team members listening, go ask 10 of your customers, hey, I've got your liability limits at this. Do those make sense of how those work? I guarantee you the majority of them are going to say, I think so, but could I have a refresher? Or no, can you help me understand what those are? right? But the point is like sometimes we ask questions, but people don't know how to answer them because they don't really understand insurance. It's
Yeah.
intimidating. And how does insurance feel for most people, right? Like they don't want to pay it. And so
Yeah.
people tend to stay surface level with insurance because of all of these different things. But I agree with you. I've found a lot of success in leading rather than asking. But I think we can have both.
Yeah. And something that I've noticed, Coulter, is people want to do what everyone else is doing. They want to fit in. They want to do the normal. Right. And I think that a lot of team members, and definitely myself when I first started out, even half a year ago, I was treating life insurance like it was the Super Bowl, right? When I was picking up that phone, it was the biggest deal in the world, right? And I think the customers can definitely sense that, right? Like there's something extra here. Kind of scares them off, right? They don't want to be sold to. I'm going to talk to you about your life insurance just like we would do in a renter's policy or doing a PLUP or doing simple liability insurance, right? I mean, everybody has to get it. Everybody does it. This is just what you do is get life insurance.
I love it. I love it. And I love like we don't need to make it a bigger deal than it is. And I think team members tend to do that. It's
Yeah.
intimidating. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And once you have as much as you've had under your belt, like you're not intimidated anymore. It's like part of just what you do. And you've gotten good at it. You'll be able to speak to, at the level that people can understand and help protect people, right? Which I think is really cool. And I'm excited to see. I mean, it's only March, man. Like we've got a long time for you to do a lot of big things. And sitting at 15,000 premium, my man, like, whew, it's gonna be a
Well, I'm
big
going
year.
in the investment program here in July, late June, early July, and I plan on definitely going into overdrive while I'm in there. Hopefully I'm not in
Love
there
it,
too
man.
long, but I'm going to do as much as I can while I'm in there.
You might as well. I mean, think about it this way. Like team members listening to this, this is something that I think about often. And I think this is a good mindset and a frame to look at what you're doing right now through. So, Landon, think about, and team members, whether this is the next step for you or if it's not, it's going to matter for everybody here. Okay. But Landon, think about like what story you want to tell the person that might be interviewing you for an agency. Like, what story do you want to be able to tell there? And when you think about that, I think it puts a lot of focus on what you're doing right now. Like, what you do right now matters. And the more that you can do, the more that you can bring, create revenue and value and make things systematic to where it can happen this month, it can happen again next month, and then the month after that. And then you can now take what you've got and then train other people to do the same thing that you were able to do. Like, think about that story when
Yeah.
you're telling that in your interview, when they're deciding if they want to give you an agency or not.
Right.
That's powerful, right? And so I think about that a lot because I think the fastest way for team members to stand out is through their production. Like, speak through your production. If you can produce at a high level consistently, that is going to be speaking very loudly on your behalf. And
Absolutely.
it's a fun story that you'll be able to tell, but also for the team members that you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. What story do you want to tell? Whatever the next thing is for you, right? Like today matters. You're writing a resume. Everything you do matters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, you are. You absolutely are. Every day in this industry counts. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but I have the best opportunity. It's not a job, it's an opportunity. I have the best opportunity in the world, right? I mean, just for example, I worked at Walmart, I worked at GNC. Whether I did the best job in the world and stocked every shelf so pristine and perfect, or I barely showed up that day, I got paid the same, and what I did didn't matter, right? But what I'm doing every single day, I hope every term I sell never pays out. I hope all my customers outlive their term, right? There's going to be one that doesn't. And what I did yesterday is going to affect someone, hopefully never, but somewhere in that 30-year period, it might. And if that day comes, I'm going to be able to give them a life changing check.
it's powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. And I think that's a great reminder. And, I share that with you. I share that mindset. In my career, I had phone calls where I had to deliver the bad news. Those hurt, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Let me.
but
Let,
also
I don't
other.
cut you off. Let me tell you a quick story of what got me in the mindset of I will never feel guilty for selling any life policy. I'll never feel bad for bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up a phone. Obviously, I'm not going to say the last name, but we had a customer named Josh. And I started in January of 24, like January 24. And Josh had his renters with us. He had his auto with us. And his sister called in. And I picked up the phone. That's not typical because I'm in sales, but I picked up the phone. I don't know why the circumstance was, but I picked it up, and Josh's sister's voice was very shaken, very hesitant and odd. And I picked up the phone. I asked, "How can I help?" And she said, I'm Josh's sister. I'm needing to cancel his auto and renters. And I think nothing of it. I said, "Well, you can't do that. Your name's not on the policy. But Josh can call him." She said, "Well, Josh is dead. Josh is dead." And she started breaking down. And I'm sitting here not knowing what to do, right? And she somehow manages to get the words out, something along the lines of it is something in place for him. Nothing's there. And I go to inactive policies. And 2 months prior, he had canceled all of his life insurance with us. And, long story short, Josh was battling stuff, took his own life, things like that. They found him in his apartment. But how much would have having an instant answers changed her life? How much would it have changed the direction of that family and that phone call? Right, the smallest policy we had, how much would that have changed? So from that point on, I made up my mind that I was going to figure out a way to get good at this and make sure that as close to 100% of my customers have life insurance. And I'm not going to feel bad for bringing it up, even if you told me no the day before.
So powerful. I have an experience that is very, very similar. Same outcome.
Yeah.
And it does, man. It changes you. You feel like we dropped the ball, like and there's sometimes we have these beliefs that if we're not selling them their full coverage amount that they need to do every single thing for them, then we're doing them a disservice. I
Yeah.
believe that. I believed that for a while. But until I had an experience like this, that's when I started thinking differently about it. Because again, what would even a small $50,000 coverage do for somebody in that type of situation? It may not completely change their life, but my goodness, it could buy them time where they don't have to be thrown right back into work, but they can take some time to mourn. But I mean, other things that they might leave behind too, covering some debt, like something is better than nothing. That's my first belief. That's my absolute first belief is something is better than nothing, right? But I also do believe that, Landon, that more is better than something,
It
right?
is. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
believe that we can have both of those things working for us in the agency to sell, to solve maybe one need, right? Just get them something, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's just
Yeah.
peace of mind or space to mourn, right? Like it doesn't have to, be everything yet, but we can make it happen to where we get in front of these people again and we offer them more coverage too,
Yeah.
right? So I love that.
It's really hard. It's really hard on a customer to have a 25, 30-year relationship with another company. And because of their bad experience, because people that have been at a company 25, 30 years, they don't leave because their rates go up a little bit. They leave because something happened, right? So, so they're already, a little soured on the idea of the insurance companies to begin with. And they bring their home and auto, and now you're asking someone with a mortgage that has kids, the whole 9 yards, you're asking if you can quote them a 20-year, $500,000 term. They don't want to talk about it, right? So I really believe in an AB policy. Get a policy, and then when we get a policy, we'll go get a better policy, right? Let's fill one need.
Wow. The AB policy. I love that. That is good stuff. Couldn't agree more with you, right? And I talk about the life insurance funnel a lot, and I'll continue to talk about it because I think it has the ability to allow team members just like you and I
Yeah.
help people in a really big way
I actually
with this
have
maybe
life.
the A policy, but we'll get them the B, right?
Yeah, I have your life insurance funnel, not framed, but it's in a plastic, laminated thing in my office.
I love
That
it.
that that's the vision, right?
It's the vision, right?
Yeah,
It's the vision, man. I
yeah,
absolutely love it, but it takes the complexity out of the conversation for us, but also for the customer, right? Where
yeah,
we can get them a policy, right? And then we'll get them a better policy. Okay.
a better
But
policy. Every team member, if you're wanting to sell more life insurance, if you're wanting to literally double your life insurance today, every instant answers and every small term you write, set a task for 1 year, and go ahead and pre-sell a conversion, because it's just what we do. It's just what everyone does. We're going to get you a permanent policy with no medical underwriting. You're going to get some credit to help lower the bill. It's just what you need.
That's gold right there. You guys want to pick that one up? That's a big deal. And here's the thing: is Landon, all of these policies he's writing this year, we don't even want to talk about next year yet. Like next year is going to be bonkers for you. Like you're going to write more than you ever thought was even possible. But if you treat it like this funnel, if you're pre-selling these appointments next year, giving them kind of the vision of what the ascension or what the customer journey is with this policy, it helps them see it. Dude, it's going to be it's going to be fun to watch. So I'm excited about that.
I've got big goals. I got big goals, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. I've got everything planned out.
Let's end there, Landon. This has been so good. Like we're going to have you on again. So much value within this. I hope you guys are taking notes. I hope you listen to this over and over and over again, because the stuff here that Landon is sharing has the ability to take you to a whole new level. Awesome. Lots of nuggets here. Production changing nuggets, life changing nuggets, in my opinion. So, Landon, I'm pumped to see you on the leaderboard, man. I'll be seeing you.
I've never put anything on your leaderboard. I just
Oh my
forget.
word!
I forget about.
You better go update it right now, because now once you get on there, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm on there every month. But I'm excited to see you on there, Landon. Like this is good stuff. So, dude, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for listening. Hope you got a lot of value out of this, and we will catch you in the next one.